So this is a update. This will actually be part 3 for the return style fuel system for a GT500. And actually, I'm doing this to kind of update what I found out after the last video since then, and a couple little things. In the last video, I had the fuel line, or that I had gotten off the rails here, and it had come kind of down like this and then down. And what I found was that it was still touching just barely right here, even after clearancing it. And I had talked to you guys about being careful when clearancing that, so you didn't go too far. So it was still kind of touching that, and I was worried about some heat transfer and stuff like that. So, and I was getting a little bit of leakage out of it after I powered up the system so that I was getting fuel pressure in there. And I tried a bunch of things and just couldn't quite get that fuel leak taken care of. So I thought, well, maybe it was because it was pushing a little bit on there because it wasn't quite straight. So I went to clearance it a little bit more, and as you can kind of see, I was already pretty thin, it turned out, and I ended up actually going through and creating about a pen-sized hole in there. So I had to take that and get it welded, and then he kind of filled in some of the rest of it because it was a little thin around there. So if you do that the way that I had it before, it does work. But you just got to be careful not to get this too thin, because you will go through. It turns out, it looks like it's pretty thick, but it turns out the walls are a little bit thinner than what you think. And second of all, just be careful of that, and be careful of the fact that you don't get any heat transfer to get the fuel hot. So what I ended up doing as my workaround was, you wouldn't have to buy any additional parts or anything new. I used basically everything that I had. Because this 90-degree turn right here comes with the VMP kit, and basically is used if you have a stock fuel system, because on here you would have the piece pointing out, which would then hook up to your stock fuel line. So what I did is I utilized that, and then the double male that I talked about in the last one, and then here's the hose with the 60-degree bend in it there. So I ended up using that and just kind of repurposing it a little bit, like I said. So this comes with it from VMP, and I hadn't used it before because I had that coming out this way and around. So I went back to that, and then put the double male connection and then the hose off of there, and then just kind of routed it down. And as you can see, still have the piece mounted there, the regulator. So that's what I did. The only other thing to be aware of with this is I did have a couple little problems. One, the system did not come with that double male connector did not come with a gasket. I had a couple extra rubber gaskets left over in the kit from VMP, so I ended up using that. That kind of took care of it a little bit, but still ended up having a little bit of a leak still with after that. So I basically used some Blue Monster. It's called pipe fitting goop on there. You could probably use the plumber's tape also, but I ended up using some of that goop on there, and I put it on the double male and on both ends of the double male, so coming into this 90-degree piece, and also on that side of the hose. And then I also did have, not too bad, but I did have a little bit of a leak up here also coming off of the regulator. So I put a little bit on both sides of that also. And since then, I turned her up to about 55 pounds, and as you can see, I had the supercharger off, so I haven't actually started the car, but just turning the system on so that it puts pressure in the lines and everything like that, I have not had any leaks since then. So just want to kind of give a little bit of a follow-up to what I found out after I made that last video about the return style fuel system for the GT500. Like I said, it would work the way that I showed it in the part 2 video. You just got to be careful, like I said, because you are kind of close to there for some heat transfer to get the fuel warm, and also then not to go too deep on here, otherwise you will go through. So if you had it like that, it's fine. Otherwise, I think between those two options, ultimately I think this is the better way to go, but I think the other one would work also. So just wanted to follow up with that and let you guys know what I found after after that last video. Thanks. Bye.